Welcome back to Studio F. On Fast Times with Willy. We'll be reviewing Exorcist II, The Heretic. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell!
Welcome back to Fast Times with Willy B. I'm Willy B. I've got Rosie with me. Rosie, how we doing?
Good, glad to be back.
So now we will move on to Exorcist II, The Heretic. And this one we will not be as fondly talking about as we did the first one, I have a feeling, at least for me.
Yeah,
this one directed by John Borman. The Deliverance, a few years before this, which very, very, very highly regarded film. Acting-wise, we got Linda Blair back as an older Regan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this one's 4 years after the original, 1977. We've got Louise Fletcher playing Dr. Tuscan. She, well known for her role in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest a few years before this. And then we've got Richard Burton playing Father Lamont, who is the main religion aspect of this movie. Do you have anything in the good? We'll start with the good.
Know.
We'll start with the good. What do you have? I have nothing. I don't.
I don't think so. If I come up with anything, it'll be my final thoughts.
Okay. We'll hop to the meh. I don't have anything for this either. So, do you have anything for the meh?
Gee. See, I'm just trying to replay it in my head, and I
guess maybe you could put the acting in the meh.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
I thought there was elements of the acting I liked. I thought Richard Burton and Louise Fletcher were pretty good. But I think a step was taken back by Linda Blair. I didn't really love her performance in this movie.
Okay. She's stunning, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'd probably put acting in the meh.
Okay.
But
I would agree with that, for sure. Sorry, y'all, this is going to be a little dry one.
Cinematography, I guess, in that. I'm not a big fan of, the locust stuff and, going over to Africa and, the jumping back and forth.
Too much back and forth for me, for sure.
But, some of the cinematography is all right, I guess. That's probably all you're going to get from me.
Yeah, I feel like there was something I was going to mention, and I don't remember, so maybe it'll come back.
So we'll go to the bad. And this is where I'm just going to put everything.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I hate crapping on movies because I love movies, but this is unfortunately one of the worst movies I've ever watched.
Look, can we just talk about the first, maybe not even 5 minutes when the lady is burning?
Yeah.
That transition,
horrible,
horrendous.
Yeah, the effects are really bad. Transitions are bad. Very poorly edited. The one 4 years
prior was so much better.
Yeah,
the transitions and the special effects and oh goodness, this one I watched it and I had to rewind it because I was like, did I blink and miss something?
Yeah,
it was so bad, and I don't know.
I think this one was just set up to fail from the start because I really did not get into the, mind sinking.
Confusing.
I thought it was just a reach. I thought it was dumb. I didn't find any enjoyment in it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This was a 2-hour movie, and it felt like I was watching a 4-hour film. It's very, very slow burn, especially because there's just not a lot that interested me.
Yeah.
It was a bad movie. It was a really bad movie.
See, I can see how they would want a second one.
Yeah.
After the way the first one ended. Because obviously, after all that tragedy that Regan went through, she obviously is not going to be a normal human being.
No.
And I understand the whole, going to the therapist and,
Well, I get that.
Yes. So I understand.
But I think the cross-mind therapy I didn't love.
Because it didn't solve anything. It actually made everything worse.
Father Lamont is, tasked to go check out that girl at the beginning to see if she is, worthy of an exorcism, basically. And then he reports back to the church, and he starts saying, like, Satan is real, and they're like, oh, no, like, you're just like Father Marin, which Father Marin had the right to say that because he was the one that did the exorcism in the first movie and ended up, you know, passing to it. And it's just all of it's all a stretch, and then, like, Lamont's going back to Reagan, and all of a sudden they have this thing where you can cross minds, and he's, like, now through that seeking to find where Pazuzu, which is a horrible name for the demon, derives from, and it's over in Africa, and he goes to meet James Earl Jones, who's playing, like, Kakumo, and he has, like, a locust farm, and he says, you got to brush the wing, all of this stuff, and I'm just like, it's all mumbo-jumbo. None of it's interesting. None of it makes sense.
No.
Unfortunately, I agree with William Friedkin in this movie. And William Friedkin, the original director of the first Exorcist, he said after this movie that he was working for Technicolor, and somebody came over and told him, "Hey, we have The Exorcist II. Do you want to check it out?" And he said after 30 minutes, I shut it off because it was just nothing. It was boring. It was a horrible movie. He went on to say pretty mean things about the director, which John Borman, this is not it, but I've heard great things about Deliverance. I haven't seen it myself. So you can't say John Borman's a nobody, which is something that he said because, I mean, Deliverance had a pretty big presence when it came to films from 1972. So,
yeah.
So I wouldn't say that, but I agree with everything he said about this movie in the sense that it's very uninteresting, it's boring, it makes no sense, and it honestly is disrespectful to the first movie. It kind of takes that first movie and taints it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The one thing I obviously didn't understand the going back to Africa and the locusts. It was like I don't know. I just didn't understand it. But the next thing I did not understand was the ending. How they go back to the house. How is the demon still in the bed?
Yeah, that's
Reagan is literally
about.
Right there.
That's what I'm talking about.
In her human body as herself.
Yeah.
How is the demon on the bed?
It's just...
And what is... Like, he's on top of her. Like, you're not going to kill her.
Yeah.
Like,
he does. He pulls her heart out.
Yeah,
but...
and
And then she starts doing to slow the locust. I'm like, this is...
That was a painful...
The ending was very bad. Second act was very bad. First act was very bad.
Oh goodness.
There's nothing I liked about this movie, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was.
And I've heard pretty bad things about this movie.
Yeah.
So I was going into it knowing that, like, prepare myself, and my expectations were low, and I still think they exceeded my low expectations in the sense that I didn't think it was going to be this bad.
Yeah, definitely. It was. I don't know.
Yeah.
The other thing I also didn't like was anytime they tried to layer, like, I don't know what it's called, but they try to, like, layer the pit, like, when he was pulling out her heart. There was a lot going on. Lots of sounds, lots of, like, things you're trying to look at. And when they were trying to cross minds, like, there was, like just the overlap. So, like, I was trying to, like, make sense of what was going on. And then I don't know, my brain doesn't work like that.
Didn't love the sound in this movie either. The music we get's pretty bland. We don't get any of the tubular bells, which is very disappointing. Just a big letdown.
Yeah, I'm excited for the third one though. I heard that one was pretty good. So.
It's a full 180 from
definitely
the first movie. A movie I'd compare it, like a two-movie back-to-back I'd compare it to is, in modern terms, is Joker. And I know a lot of people like Joker 2, a lot of people don't like Joker 2, but for me, that first Joker was a 10 out of 10, just like the first Exorcist is. And that second one, I have this movie that we're reviewing right now lower than Joker 2 by far, but it was just a movie where you're watching, you're so let down because of what could have been. And that's what it was like watching this. I'm like, how do you go from a masterpiece, a work of art, to just this messy, uninteresting mess? I mean, I said mess twice, but it's a mess. That's what it is.
Yeah.
This is not good.
I agree. I don't got anything else.
Yeah. Well, over to our final thoughts and ratings. What do you want to leave off with Exorcist II, The Heretic, what do you give it out of 10?
I don't even know where to leave off, just because it was an interesting watch. It, I don't know, didn't do anything for us, obviously. I'm hoping the next one and all the other ones are better. Unfortunately, like you say, some movies, though they are awful, obviously deserve a score because it takes talent and time and perseverance and all the things to make a movie. So you at least get some points for putting out a movie. And I mean, it's part of a popular franchise, whether it's good or not. Like, it's, I don't know. Unfortunately, though, I'm going to have to leave and give it a 2.
You too?
That might be the lowest score for anything I've ever rated, which is awful, but...
I'm going to give it my lowest score that I give, which is a 1 out of 10. Just start to finish, the whole 2-hour runtime, I was never interested. This was one that I constantly found myself, like, wanting to check my phone, but I chugged through and watched it. It's just... It's a movie that, honestly, back in 1977, had I been in theater, I could have seen myself walking out of.
Yeah, I hate walking out of movies.
I'm the same way. I rarely do. I don't think I've ever done it. It's just this felt like one, if, you know, you have that first movie, this is just one where you're like, halfway through it, you might just be PO'd.
Yeah, definitely.
Not a lot there for Exorcist 2, but I am excited for Exorcist 3 because I've heard good things about it. I know the premise a little bit with the serial killer that is now the demon, and the trailer is like the confession box, and the trailer is so good. So I'm really excited for the third one. And I've heard the third one is probably the best outside of the original in all 6 of the Exorcist movies.
Well, that's good to hear.
So we'll check that one out next. That'll do it for Exorcist II, The Heretic. Rosie, thank you for coming on. Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some other videos, hit the subscribe button, or follow the social links. Go check out our Exorcist review, and stay tuned for Exorcist 3 coming tomorrow. But again, thank you all for watching. We'll talk to you all soon. Peace.
Peace and love.